Ms. Kwek Xiaoyun. Sorry, Mr. Teo Ho Pin.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise in support of the budget. I support the key thrust of the budget, which is about sustainability. So the key questions we have to ask ourselves are, first, how do we make our fiscal position sustainable so that the government has a steady stream of revenue even while facing increased government expenditure arising from both an aging population and aging infrastructure? Second, how do we support local firms to sustain and grow their businesses in order to provide jobs, better jobs and wages for Singaporeans? Third, how do we build a sustainable environment where Singaporeans can live, work and play? First, fiscal sustainability. So I support the proposed increase in GST to 9%. Doing so will provide a stable income for the government to fund the increase in expenditure, particularly in the healthcare and security areas. However, more has to be done to help low-income Singaporeans cope with the potential increase in prices. As more Singaporeans are eating out these days, I propose that the permanent GST voucher scheme take into consideration the increase in cooked food and drink prices, especially in relation to serving sizes when determining the quantum of assistance. Second, sustaining business growth and providing jobs. So as highlighted by the Finance Minister, there will be three major shifts affecting Singapore. First, a shift in global economic weight. Second, a shift in the emergence of new technologies. And three, an increasing aging population. All these shifts will pose immense challenges to our local businesses, especially SMEs. So despite the introduction of many SME assistance schemes, SMEs have been slow in building up their capabilities. Many SMEs are still not coming forward to develop competitive edges and prepare for overseas business expansion. Many of them also do not understand how they can seize business opportunities under the 23 industry transformation maps. I will urge the government to step up its efforts to engage and help our SMEs more effectively. So in 2017, the Northwest CDC SME Center engaged 1,080 SMEs to provide information on various SME assistance schemes. Only 148 firms took up assistance schemes designed to upgrade their firms and staff. Many are reluctant to upgrade or expand their businesses. From the feedback gathered, while SMEs are keen on solutions, they are afraid of the process of adapting these changes. This trend is unhealthy as it affects the survival of our SMEs and results in wastage of resources through inefficient processes. So one of the key challenges faced by SMEs is the recruitment and retention of talent. I propose that the wage credit scheme be extended to help SMEs retain staff by including performance and loyalty-based bonuses as part of the scheme. Third, sustainable environment. So I'm pleased that this year's budget has placed emphasis on making Singapore a smart, green, and livable city. As a global city with a compact built environment, it is crucial for all stakeholders of our society to adopt sustainable solutions to make Singapore an eco-friendly city. So there are four major contributors of greenhouse gases and PM 2.5 emissions in our built environment, namely, first, power plants, second, industries, third, transportation, and fourth, buildings. I support the introduction of the carbon tax to encourage businesses to adopt cleaner technologies. This will help reduce greenhouse gases emissions, especially from power plants and industries. However, the carbon tax may not be as effective in reducing emissions generated from transportation and buildings. So emissions from transportation and buildings constitute an estimated 16% of all emissions in Singapore. We must act fast and take bold steps to make our transportation and buildings eco-friendlier. As of 2017, we have about 160,000 goods vehicles and buses on Singapore roads. Many of these vehicles are not green certified and emit PM 2.5, which is detrimental to the health and well-being of Singaporeans. So this problem is further aggravated by heavy trucks that travel between Singapore and Malaysia. Many of these vehicles travel at night and in the early hours of the morning. Pollution is less visible during these hours, and our enforcement officers may not be present at these hours to enforce air pollution controls. So we must adopt sustainable solutions to convert our fleet of goods, vehicles, and buses into green vehicles. As goods vehicles and buses are costly to replace or upgrade, the government can consider providing low-interest loans and subsidies to accelerate the replacement of our existing fleet of heavy vehicles. So moving on to buildings, we have an estimate of 5,000 high-rise buildings and skyscrapers in Singapore, and over 5,000 other buildings and amenities. Many of these buildings date back to the 1970s and are not equipped with eco-friendly features. Only about 25% of our buildings, that is about 2,400 buildings, are certified green under the BCA's Green Mark scheme. To further expedite the greening of our buildings, I propose that BCA compile best practices on green building designs, mechanical and electrical installations, interior fittings, and maintenance designs in order to guide developers, consultants, contractors, and facility managers. These best practices should also be included as part of the Green Mark scheme. Buildings, especially air-conditioned ones, consume large amounts of energy and contribute significantly to the overall greenhouse gases emissions. In Singapore, our hot and humid climate encourages more people to spend more time indoor in air-conditioned spaces, such as offices, shopping centers, restaurants. More HDB flat owners are also installing air conditioners in their flats. The proliferation of air conditioners will undoubtedly increase energy demand and add to emissions. To ensure the more efficient and prudent use of air conditioning, we should encourage the installation of energy monitoring system that will help building owners to track their electricity consumption and reduce wastages. An example of such a system is the Home Energy Management System, or HEMS in Japan, which allows for the control of electrical appliances such as air conditioners and lights to reach optimal energy efficiency. The Energy Conservation Center, Japan, cites an 11% reduction in energy usage in facilities equipped with HEMS after a 12-month study. So to fight climate change, we need to expedite the adoption of renewable energy sources such as solar energy. The HDB has started the installation of solar panels on HDB rooftops. However, the progress is slow due to various financing constraints and pricing problems when solar energy is sold to the power grid. I hope the ministry will address these problems and scale up the installation of solar panels in all high-rise buildings so as to build more solar energy banks. So to further enhance sustainability in our built environment, we need to take a multi-pronged approach to engage all stakeholders to adopt green living practices. We can learn from many Japanese cities which have embarked on various successful eco-sustainability policies, incentives, and education. In 2008, Japan selected 13 cities under the Future City Initiative to transform Japan into a low-carbon society. These are some examples of projects undertaken by various cities. First, Toyota City has encouraged the use of eco-friendly cars through programs which assist buyers in purchasing such vehicles. 2. Kyoto has tapped into its budget to incentivize schools, neighborhood businesses, and organizations to become eco-friendlier. It has integrated eco-friendliness as part of its cultural identity under the, I quote, Do You Kyoto, unquote, project. In addition, Kyoto also subsidizes households which utilize solar energy. As of 2013, over 7,000 households have taken up the subsidy program, making a 7-time increase over 5 years. 3. Yokohama provides economic incentives such as lower property taxes for houses if they meet certain energy efficiency standards. 4. Chiyoda has developed measures for both new and existing buildings to become eco-friendlier and provide assistance in the form of technical support under its, I quote, green stock, unquote, strategy. So many Japanese cities have also adopted the Comprehensive Assessment System for Built Environment Efficiency, or CASB, to measure eco-friendliness. CASB may be used to assess eco-friendliness at various scales, ranging from individual buildings to entire cities. So studying CASB and the method by which it evaluates and rates the environmental performance of buildings and subsequently adopting it for use in Singapore may be of value in allowing us to become a greener city. So over the last 10 years, Northwest CDC has been championing many green programs to promote green living lifestyle among our residents. We have worked with our 3P partners to organize resource conservation projects, recycling, and climate change education programs to promote environmental ownership. I will urge the government to provide more funding to support the community to champion green projects. So this year's budget is a good and strategic budget. I hope that more initiatives to make Singapore an eco-friendlier nation could be included within the budget to make Singapore a sustainable green city.